bariatric, the loss of lean mass. Bariatric is basically a cut of the stomach with a deviation, so that the area of the stomach active for digestion is highly reduced. The question is, what's the stomach for? Now it serves for several functions, digestive and even signaling to the nervous system. Mainly for protein digestion. So if I mess up an organ that works mainly for protein digestion, I'll have trouble with what? Of course it's with proteins. According to studies, bariatric causes the individual to lose lean mass. And what is lean mass? It's muscle mass. Losing muscle mass is never good, because when you grow old, the amount of muscle mass you conserve becomes important. Losing lean mass is increasing the risk of non-communicable disease in the aging stages. So who does bariatric will end up paying a price in the stages of greater age. Usually bariatric is used after years of unconcern about weight. And when I say weight, it is not looking at the body, but looking at health, like exercise, eating rich in fruits, vegetables and cereals. These basic rules that are neglected, which make up the big factor of most obese. The point is that one should think of obesity when one is not obese, not when one is obese. When you are in a situation of obesity, if you have a number of increased fat cells, and coming to a desensitization of leptin, the person is increasingly having difficulty reducing weight. And this generates a system of quitting to reduce weight by means of habit of life, and looking for operative mechanisms like bariatric. Now if it is easier to conserve weight, why will you think about reducing weight when you are in positions of obesity or morbid obesity, being extremely more difficult to resist the misaligned effects of appetite signs in the obesity phase? Of course, in today's culture systems, it is standard that one does not have a preventive concern, and especially as a young person, if he thinks that no evil can happen. The problem is that what we imagine does not change the reality we live in, but young people sometimes they do not care about it, and most of the time they will observe the problem when it is destroying the quality of life of this young man, who has become adult or old. But with this the difficulties increase, since the normal forces are reduced in relation to the juvenile period. And so it needs several medicated palliatives to equate the problems acquired. All these problems have generated both an increase in the costs to the individual, in which he could use his income for pleasurable actions, in which the health attached to the walk, or health linked to social relationships, would be highly pleasing the quality of life. Problems of obesity generate losses. And because of these damages, the bariatric is sought. Bariatric causes an obligation to feed in a small amount, which also generates a loss in social systems, but the psychological incentive of weight reduction causes pleasure, which goes to the point of normal weight. When reaching normal weight the person needs care not to go towards anorexia, but the effects of bariatric continue, and the loss of muscle mass at the beginning of bariatric does not return. In fact, the quality of life is being impaired in the stages of higher age. In fact, preventive care, linked to quality of life, linked to physical exercises, good nutrition, manages the resolution of almost all future problems, linked to obesity or anorexia. Preventing is always better than solving a problem.